1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramnayaka. The 12th round of Economic and Technology Cooperation Agreement negotiations between Sri Lanka and India ended yesterday. The Prime Minister says that lands that have clear title ownership should be given for paddy cultivation. It has been stated that when compared to the other countries, Sri Lanka has achieved a remarkable growth in covering its loans amidst the challenges. The Parliament will meet from the 7th to the 10th of this month. A new program will be implemented in the Kandy town to control the flood situation due to the heavy rain. Foreign news, Biden calls for a humanitarian pause as fighting rages in Gaza. News in detail. In a significant development that marks a milestone in Sri Lanka's economic and technological journey, the 12th round of Economic and Technology Cooperation Agreement negotiations between Sri Lanka and India, which took place on the 30th of October till the 1st of November, ended in Colombo yesterday. Sri Lanka's vision has always been to integrate with the largest economies in Asia and East Asia, emphasizing export diversification while maintaining and nurturing existing major export markets. The ultimate goal is to connect with key players through the global value chain to boost the country's economy and improve the living standards of its people. The discussions during this round negotiations hold immense assurance. The visit of the President of Sri Lanka to New Delhi on the 29th of July 2023 set the stage for renewed commitment to the ETCA, which had been on hold since 2018. Both the heads of state representing Sri Lanka and India agreed to comprehensively enhance bilateral trade and investments, especially in new and priority areas. A delegation of 19 Indian officials, led by Sri Anand Swarup, Chief Negotiator and Joint Secretary of the Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry of India, visited Sri Lanka. They engaged in extensive discussions on this comprehensive agreement. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that lands that have clear title ownership should be given for paddy cultivation. The national program of Alut Gamak Alut Ratak was held in Vavuniya District Secretariat Office regarding the food security. In the event, the Prime Minister said that solutions will be provided to land issues. A systematic plan will be implemented in this regard. Several projects are underway in Vavuniya under foreign aid. The objective of this government is to enhance the living condition of the low-income families. State Minister Shehan Semasinga says that Sri Lanka has achieved a remarkable growth in covering its loans amidst the challenges when compared to other countries. The country is dedicated to fulfill the objectives of sustainable development of the country. He made these remarks while participating at the 4th session of All-Party Economic Summit of the UN on Poverty Eradication and Development. The summit, which has commenced yesterday, will continue until tomorrow. He further said that after completing the debt restructuring program, opportunities will be given for investment under concessionary financial management. It is also hoped to obtain the contribution of the private sector for the development activities in the country. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Secretary-General of Parliament Kushani Rohanadira says that the Parliament will meet from the 7th to the 10th of this month. The President will submit the appropriation bill for the financial year 2024 as the Finance Minister at 12 noon on the 13th of this month. She also said that the second reading of the bill will be held at 6 p.m. on the 21st. A new program will be implemented in the Kandy town to control the flood situation due to the heavy rains. Assistant Director of the Kandy District of the Disaster Management Centre, Indika Ranavira, said that under this program, the drainage system will be expanded from Bogambara to the Madala. 31 million rupees will be spent under the grounds of the Disaster Management Centre. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
In the main news story, The two fertilizer companies of the government have agreed to provide fertilizer needed for the tea cultivation at the production price. Lanka Fertilizer Company and the Commercial Fertilizer Company are producing mixed fertilizer for the cultivation of tea, cinnamon, coconut and other plantation crops. The Independent Association of the Tea Industrialists has requested the Minister Mahinda Amaravira to provide these fertilizer at a concessionary price. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. Executive Engineering Office of the Palmadulla has notified the drivers to drive carefully as landslides can occur from Molamura to Bellangala Road due to experiencing of heavy rain in Balangoda, Kaltota area. And that came to you in Watchlight. Moving on with world news in the headlines. Biden calls for humanitarian pause as fighting rages in Gaza. Delhi Chief Minister to be questioned in corruption case. And political violence grips country as election looms in Bangladesh. US President Joe Biden says there has to be a pause in fighting to facilitate the release of Hamas hostages. Gaza saw another night of heavy fighting with a live feed capturing sounds of explosions and bright flames on the horizon. More people are expected to leave Gaza via the Rafah crossing today after more than 400 people crossed the border into Egypt yesterday. The Rafah crossing opened yesterday for the first time since war broke, allowing 335 foreign passport holders and 76 injured Gazans to pass. Israel's military has told the BBC that it just struck a Hamas facility in Jabalia, killing 2 Hamas fighters. Arvind Kejriwal, Delhi's chief minister and leader of the governing Aam Aadmi Party, is said to be questioned by India's Financial Crimes Agency. The Enforcement Directorate is investigating an alleged fraud case related to a now scrapped liquor sale policy in the state. AAP leaders Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh have been arrested in the case. AAP has denied the allegations against its leaders and accused the federal government of political vendetta. But India's government Bharatiya Janata Party has accused the AAP of indulging in corrupt practices for political gains. Weeks of mounting political tension have erupted into protests and bloodshed in Bangladesh, leaving the country on edge ahead of general elections due in January. Several senior opposition leaders were arrested late Sunday, a day after a massive rally against the government turned violent, resulting in the deaths of at least 2 opposition supporters. The rejuvenated main opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party has intensified protests calling on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to resign. The BNP and its allies want a neutral interim government ahead of the general elections, arguing that free and fair polls are not possible under Ms. Hasina. The government led by her Awami League has rejected this demand. Back to the headlines of the world news. Biden calls for humanitarian pause as fighting rages in Gaza. Delhi Chief Minister to be questioned in corruption case. And political violence grips country as election looms in Bangladesh. And that ends world news.
Development news.
Kegol office of the Forest Conservation Department says that a tree planting program will be held in Udugoda Dombana Forest Reserve from tomorrow. 300 varieties of plants, including kubuk and karanda, are to be planted. And that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
The 33rd match of the World Championship Cricket Tournament will be played in Wankhede today. The Sri Lanka team and the Indian teams will compete. The match will begin at 2 p.m. And that was sports news.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, President Ranil Wickremesinghe praised Seat Kalani Tyres for its remarkable journey from a state-owned enterprise to a symbol of successful privatization. Speaking at the momentous event marking 25 years of business excellence, Wickremesinghe reminisced about the challenging birth of Kalani Tyres and the pivotal role it played in Sri Lanka's history. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, milk powder, which is an essential consumer food commodity, has been reduced by Lanka Satusa Limited from yesterday. Lanka Satusa has taken steps to reduce the price of a 400-gram Satusa full cream milk powder packets across the country in order to provide relief for the Sri Lankan consumers who are undergoing economic hardships. Accordingly, the price of a 400-gram Lanka Satusa milk packet has been reduced by 22 rupees and the new price is 948 rupees. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
In the weather forecast, showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in many provinces in the island after 2 p.m. today, the Meteorology Department says. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the West Sabaragamuwa, Central and Uva provinces and in the Galle and Matra districts. Showers will occur in the Eastern Province and in the Hambantota and Jaffna districts during the morning too. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamuwa, Central and Uva during the morning. And that was the weather report. Prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The 12th round of Economic and Technology Cooperation Agreement negotiations between Sri Lanka and India ended yesterday. The Prime Minister says that lands that have clear title ownership should be given for paddy cultivation. It has been stated that when compared to other countries, Sri Lanka has achieved a remarkable growth in covering its loans amidst the challenges. The Parliament will meet from the 7th to the 10th of this month. A new program will be implemented in the Kandy town to control the flood situation due to the heavy rain. In foreign news, Biden calls for humanitarian pause as fighting rages in Gaza. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.